Hello students, my name is Gina Maria Tassinari and I am your professor for HCI 140, ICD-10, CM, which is clinical measures, and those are the diagnosis codes, and PCS, procedural coding systems, which are the procedure codes that hospitals use to bill for their services. This video is an introduction to my Blackboard course space. I'm doing this because from professor to professor, we use our Blackboard course space just a little bit different. So in week 1, you'll find this video. It'll be on your checklist to watch so that you will get a preview of how I use my Blackboard course space. In my course space, I do have a course message which I do frequently use with students, so feel free to course message me any questions that you may have on the course. Later on in this video, I will circle back to course messages and just give a few pointers on using it. You have the My Grades tab, and you have access to tutoring, and when you click on that, it's going to give you information on what numbers you can call to get access to tutoring. I want to point out that the version you're seeing right now is actually the instructor's view. I'm going to change to the student's view in a few minutes, but I want to stay in the instructor's view right now because there is something that I do want to show you that will disappear when I change to the student's view. I have the course welcome, and you'll see that there's a picture of me and a little bit of information about me. Now I'm happy again to answer any questions about the industry. So you don't have to just stick to questions about the coursework. As your professor, I am happy to share not only my knowledge of the coding, but my industry knowledge. So if you have questions of what to expect when you're first going out there, what kind of jobs are out there in the industries, the dress codes, just about any question that you have, I probably can give you my honest experience with that, and I'm happy to share that with you. So I'll let you read this at your own leisure. I do want to review the course syllabus with you for a minute or two. I'm going to scroll all the way down to the bottom of the course syllabus. When you click on the link, it opens up into an actual view of the course syllabus, and there's also a download. It's a PDF document. I'm going to the bottom, and this is where we have all the class schedules laid out, right, with their due dates, the topics, and what you will be completing during that week's work. Right, so it's kind of like a checklist, and when we go into the week's folders, you'll actually see that checklists are there, and they're very, very similar to what you see here on the syllabus. A couple of other things on the syllabus I want to point out is there are a lot of policies on the syllabus that you really should read. Right? They really lay out the policies pretty clearly for you. So I would make sure that you read each one of those. Also on the syllabus here, it does state that I don't accept late assignments. Now that's not saying that if you don't have an emergency coming up. Just about every semester I've had a student who either had a wedding, going on vacation, got hurt. I'll work with students who are in a situation where they're sick or they're ill, or they have a pre-planned vacation or wedding where they need for me to rearrange their due dates. But we need to pre-schedule those in advance, because generally from week to week I do not accept late work, and there is a reason why, and when we look at the first week's folder, I'll explain to you why in a few minutes. The other thing on the syllabus is the required texts, and there are the ISBN numbers for you for the ICD books. It would be worth your while to download the PDF document, because what happens is in the PDF document I have embedded pictures of the books. Right. The view in Blackbook for some reason does not allow the embedded pictures to show on the screen. I'm not sure why. It's not. They just disappear. I've downloaded I've deleted and uploaded the PDF document several times, and each time they don't populate. So it would be worth your while to download this if you are going to rent or lease your book from a website. Over the years, I have learned that when students are going to rent or lease their book off of a website or look for a better deal on a website and not purchase it from the bookstore, they get a little concerned that they may be not purchasing or leasing the correct book, because in the bookstore you can actually ask and make sure that you are getting the correct book, but when you're working with an outside entity, there's a little concern that they're not getting the right book, so they'll email me screenshots of it to make sure that it's the correct book. So I've taken the student's lead, and now I actually put a screenshot of the actual books that they're using. So if you are going to a website to lease or rent your books or purchase your books, you will have a little bit more confidence that you'll actually know what the book looks like. And all of the websites that you're purchasing or leasing books from should show you the actual picture. So I hope that will be helpful to you. Now back in Blackboard, I want to show you the course content. Now remember, this is the instructor's view of it, so there is a lot of stuff listed on my sidebar that you won't see in the student's view, which I will click into in just a few minutes. Here are all the weeks as they were listed out with the due dates from the syllabus. So the due dates match, and you see this little box right here is showing you that the link is hidden from the students, and there's a reason why I do that. You will only see this week's work available to you. The way the Blackboard is set up is that the following week's work will become available to you the day before the current week's work is due. I'm going to switch to the student's view. Okay, so here we have the student's view. And see, now you can see that there's only week 1 available to you. And let's click on and look in there. My folders are set up in the same form, in the same format, in the same order from week to week. So I try to make it as least chaotic as possible for the students visually to make it easier for the flow of the class. So they'll all start off with the week 1 and the due date and the name, the title of the class that you're in. These objectives right here, they're going to be the same from week to week. The overview will be next, and that will change from week to week. The overview will tell you what we're focusing on in this week's work. So the first week we're focusing on introductions. We're going to read chapter 1 and 2. It's talking about communication guidelines. It does repeat some of the stuff that's in the syllabus. And following the overview, it will be the checklist. Right? And this checklist is very similar, if not identical, to the to what is in the actual syllabus. Following that will be the videos and the readings. So I have not uploaded the videos yet. This current video that you're watching right now, you see it's not visible in the video in week 1, but you're watching it, so it's available in week 1 now. Right. The reading assignments will be there. So we have about 25 or 26 chapters that we have to cover in the 15 weeks. So for the first 11 weeks or so, you'll be reading at least 2 chapters. I believe there's 1 week where you'll be reading 3 chapters. And then once we get to like week 11 or 12, it's down to 1 chapter. There will be 2 discussions in every folder. The first discussion will be labeled Discussion Week 1, Discussion Week 2, so forth and so on, followed by what the subject matter is that we're talking about in that discussion. And then in the body of it, it will give you some more direction on what we're discussing and what you should be doing in that discussion week. You should post a discussion early in the week, post your discussion out there early in the week. Every student should do that, so that this way it gives 4 or 5 days to the other students as well as yourself, to be able to go out there and reply to other students' discussions. You should reply at a minimum 1, but 2 or 3 really is best, and have a conversation back and forth. When you look at the syllabus, you'll see that there is some guidelines around the discussion and how the grading will work around that. That's the gradable discussion. Every week there is also a question and answer discussion board. This is not gradable, and it does say that right there. There's a disclaimer. This is a general question and answer discussion board. So as you're working through your week and you come across content, or as you're working your assignments, or at any point that you're doing your reading or your week's work and you have a question, you can post it publicly out here. A good reason to post it publicly is because all of the other students will see your question, and then they'll be able to join that conversation and will have the benefit of seeing whatever the answers are and share the wealth of knowledge. For some people, that's also the con to posting it publicly. Some people are a little bit shyer and they prefer more one-on-one conversation. That is fine too. Use the course message to send me the questions that you have in difficulty with methodologies. You took your quiz and you think that one of the answers didn't take, or they'll cross message me to say that they can't see something, it's not viewable, or they're having trouble posting. So if you are comfortable with doing that publicly, by all means, put it out on the question and answer discussion board where everybody will see it and be able to join in that conversation, or send it to me privately through the course message, whichever way works best for you. Now, the reason why I don't let students get ahead is because this public question and discussion board will create problems if most of the students are working in the current week's worth of work, and a handful of students are 2 or 3 weeks ahead and they're posting questions on future assignments, on future chapters that most of the class has not read yet. It becomes a little bit confusing and a little bit chaotic. So that is the main reason why I don't let students get ahead. One of the reasons why I don't accept late work is because once we get into week 3, I will go back and start posting answer keys to the previous weeks. So once the due date has passed for a week, then I'll be able to post the answer keys to the review questions that are throughout the chapters. There are multiple areas. After you read a specific topic, then there'll be some review questions. At the end of every chapter will be a chapter review exercise. Those are what I'm going to assign to you as your actual assignments that you will get graded on. So following the discussion boards will be the assignments. And in the assignment for chapters that you are being assigned to read, you will be given specific questions to answer in the chapter review exercises that are at the very end of the chapters. Typically, I don't assign every single question in the chapter review because you are reading multiple chapters and you could wind up with 60, 70 questions, and that's just too huge of a course workload for any student to handle. So I am reasonable in the questions that I do assign to you. So most of the time you will be getting some of the questions in that chapter. So in the first week you're going to be assigned questions 1 through 18 for chapter 1 and 1 through 11 for chapter 2. I'm not sure off the top of my head. I think that may be all of the questions in those actual chapter review exercises. But some of the chapter review exercises have 23, 25, 30 questions in them. And if you've read 2 chapters, I can't give you the 30 questions in each chapter. That really is just too much work. So I will assign you specific questions out of it. That is what you should hand in. Please do not hand in any more than what I have assigned to you. Then, like I said, as the due date comes and it passes, typically a week after the due date has passed, I go back to that folder and I upload the answer keys so that you can go back and do the questions that I did not assign to you and the other review exercises throughout the chapters to do practice. You may see in future chapters future folders that I've actually assigned you some practice questions. Do not hand those in. This is your opportunity to do those questions. The answer keys will be available for you right immediately, right then and there. When you open up the folder, if I've assigned you practice questions, the answer keys are already there. You should do those first because that will give you an opportunity to find out where your weaknesses and where your strengths are. And if you're having trouble with any particular methodology, before you actually do the assignment work to hand it in to be graded, you could do those practice questions, and any questions that you don't understand why your answer is not correct and it's another answer, you can either post that out on the question and answer discussion board, or you can send it to me in a course message, and I will help you to understand that methodology before you actually have to do the graded work. Another thing is starting in week 2, that's when you'll start seeing the quizzes. So the quiz on chapter 1 and 2 will occur in week 2. So that gives you an additional week to study for the chapter quiz. Right, so if you go to the syllabus and you scroll down to the bottom where I have all the weeks worth of works laid out, you'll see that all of the chapter quizzes happen in the following week's folder, in the following week's worth of work. So let's do a quick overview now of the course messaging. I feel confident that most of you, if not all of you, have used course messaging with one of your other professors. You'll see you have an inbox and you'll have a sent box, and you click on create a message, and right now there are no students populated in this, so you can't see anybody to choose, but there are typically 2 boxes here. One on the left that will have a list of all of the recipients that you can send your instant message to, your course message to, and then a blank box here. So as you choose them and click them to come over here, you'll see the people that you have selected in the right-hand box that you want to send the course message to. Please put a subject on there that pertains to what you're asking me about. If it's about quiz 3, then put, quiz 3. If it's about chapter 1, question 4 in the chapter review exercise, you'll put chapter 1, question 4, and then down in the body of it, you can, give me what your questions are on that. If some of the times I do respond every night. I am online every night answering course messages and grading Monday through Thursday. If you do get an answer from me on a Friday or a weekend, that's not the norm. I may have had to log on for something else, and if a course message catches my eye, sometimes I can't stop myself from answering it, even though it's not one of the days that I'm typically answering questions from students. But I work during the day, so I'm an evening professor at the school, and I hate when these things pop up. Sorry about that. And oh, darn it. And I will be online every night, Monday through Thursday, answering questions, and I am typically on 9 o'clock. That's when I'm on, and I'm mostly on 9 o'clock till midnight, so that's the time that I'm usually there. So that is the overview of my Blackboard course space. After watching this video, if you have any questions, after reviewing the syllabus, if you have any questions, if at any point in your work in these folders during the class that you have questions, please feel free to course message me, or you can post it out on the public question and answer discussion board that we have out there. I truly do look forward to working with each and every one of you this semester, and I wish you all happy coding.